grew up in the desert, an East Indian girl in the Middle East, born into a Catholic family. Growing up, I did not know what it meant to be gay, as it was not safe to be out. And so I grew up thinking that life's only option for me was to marry a man, regardless of what I thought or felt. After moving to Canada as a teenager, things started to shift for me, especially when I found a community of LGBT people after starting in university. Being in university opened up new worlds for me, which were exciting but also terrifying at the same time. I met other women and men who loved people of the same gender, and others who transcended the fixed boxes of gender identity. At first, I was so excited to see others who were like me in some ways, and this recognition opened up possibilities for me. But I was also afraid of what my sexual orientation might have meant to others, and if I would have to give up parts of my world to be true to myself. Growing up in a collectivist culture, where I have deep roots and connections to my family and community, I feared coming out to the people who were the closest to me, and I did not come out for a long time, as I tried to hold on tightly to the brown parts of me in a seemingly white Canadian world that I was now in. Those fears proved to be unnecessary in some cases, as I was embraced by parts of my family and community, and warranted in other instances where people shut me out of their lives. For some, I had become too white, and I was called a coconut, brown on the outside and white on the inside. I sadly and reluctantly temporarily accepted this dichotomization of my being, as it also happened in the reverse in the white communities that accepted my sexual orientation, but exoticized or judged me based on the color of my skin. The pain of these hurts of living in liminal spaces between the different worlds ran deep, and it didn't necessarily get better with time. It just got different. It means different things to me to live in Ontario in the skin of a brown immigrant lesbian now as a 41-year-old than it did when I was in my 20s. And although I'm older now, the coming out process still continues every time I meet a new friend, neighbor, client, or colleague. But now I also come out as a divorced lesbian and mother of a biracial son. Navigating the different social and legal spaces of heterosexism, sexism, and racism have proven to be challenges. But at the same time, I'm still grateful for the fact that I have the ability and rights here in Canada to get married to a woman and to have a child with her, rights that I helped vehemently fight for in the first place. So I choose to reframe these challenges and hurts into motivating factors to push for rights for those who live on the margins. I try to live a life that is filled with love, compassion, strength, but mostly hope. Hope for the future. That things can change around the world as they have in Canada. And I feel blessed to be given an opportunity to share a little bit of my story here, in the hopes that others may see it, and maybe find a piece that speaks to them, and shows them that we can find beauty living in the liminal spaces that we transform into our own. My name is Iona, and thank you for listening to a little bit of my story.